Hey, my name is Josh Kelly. I'm one of the owners of Citadel Benefits Group, and I'm super excited to show you this program today. After it's over with, the agent that's there with you in person can walk you through any questions you might have, but obviously they'll have my contact info as well, and we're happy to jump on and talk tax codes and that kind of stuff. But with that being said, I'll share my screen and we'll get going. All right, so there's my contact information as well, but your agent that's there with you right now will, again, answer anything that you might need. So the program we're talking about today is called a SMRP. It's a self-insured medical reimbursement program. And so where this came about was back in 2014 when the Affordable Care Act went into place. As you know, it changed a lot of stuff, but mostly I remember it because remember health insurance really expensive, but it did help a lot of people get coverage that, couldn't get it. I guess nothing's perfect for everybody, but one of the goals of the politicians that put this in place was they were trying to get our population healthier, which makes sense because that's less taxing on the system down the road and whatnot. And in order to accomplish that, they put some preventative care and wellness things in place. And along with all of that came some new tax codes. So what we did was we basically took those new tax codes, put them together with some that's been around for a while. We created this program. So the key benefits for you as the employer is one, it doesn't cost you any money. Matter of fact, it gives you an immediate financial impact to your bottom line. We're going to save you an average of about $550 per employee per year on payroll taxes. It's going to help with employee retention, loyalty, productivity. It's going to help reduce claims costs, any major medical plans that you have in place, and everything's automated and really easy to implement. Now, as far as your employees go, no change in their take-home pay. Now, if you've got somebody bringing home $700 a week now, they still bring home $700 a week on the program. Doesn't make their tax return go down or affect it in a negative way. Each employee is going to get this really robust health dashboard with access to telehealth doctors, nurses, life coaches. We have a health coaching program, addiction recovery, couples counseling, many other things. And the best part is each employee is going to get an average of about $150 to spend each month on supplemental products like life insurance, accident, cancer plans, that type of thing. And all of that happens without changing their take-home pay. So you save money, your employees get all that stuff. It's a true win-win. So let's do some math. So let's say you got 25 employees. So based on 25 employees, we're going to save you about $14,000 a year. And that's going to write it off at the end of the year type of tax savings. That's next month. You're on a program, you go to run payroll, you're going to have about $1,200 left over. So do the math for your company there. Take however many employees you have. We're going to multiply that by 550, and that's how much you'll save on average each year. Then take that number and divide it by 12, and that's how much you're going to save each month. If you want to pause it right now, do a little math, but I'm sure you can do that as I'm talking. So it's just an amazing program. Again, it's employee funded, so there's no new out-of-pocket expenses for you, no change in your employees' take-home pay. All the fees and premiums we pay for out of tax savings. Now, I'm going to go through the money part here in a second, but before we get into that, there's a couple things that I want to show you first. One is there's some qualifications. It's pretty simple. The main thing is they have to be a W-2 employee. Obviously, if we're dealing with tax savings, they have to have taxes coming out of their check in order to participate there. Then the second part here, and we handle the compliance on this because there's not really any way of you knowing if they do or not, but they have to have some type of a health plan. And so to kind of expand on that, if you offer health insurance, they're on your policy, obviously they would qualify, but they could be on a spouse's plan or maybe still on mom and dad's, or even if they have an individual policy. So as long as they have something, that's all that matters. But you don't have to go around and ask. Again, we'll handle that. But if there's somebody that may not have health insurance, not a problem. We have some things we can put in place to kind of check that box, but we'll take care of that for you. Now, there is one caveat to that. If you have an employee that's on some type of health plan that's getting federal funding, so if they're on Medicare or if they're getting a supplement through the marketplace, they can't participate because it would kind of be double dipping. Now, they can have a policy through the marketplace, but if they're getting a supplement they can't do both of these things. But that's the only qualifications. Now, the next thing I want to show you before we dig into the actual money part is the actual program itself. For sake of time, I'm just going to hit the high points here for you, but you'll still get a really good understanding of everything that your employees are going to get with this. So the first part here is our employee assistance program. A lot of times it's called an EAP. It's kind of like a concierge at a hotel. Their job's to kind of do whatever it is you ask them to do. And this is done in the same way, but it's over the phone. So employees can call in to get financial counseling, mental health counseling. They can talk to attorneys and ask questions. They have maybe got diagnosed with something. They want to talk to a doctor, get a second opinion. Anything you would normally WebMD or Google, they can now call in and talk to a real person and an expert in this field and get some help with it. There's also a website and an app that everything's housed in that I'm going to show you. And in it too, there's a body fat index, a place to track things. And what's great is not only do your employees get this, but their spouse gets access to it, and all their dependents can use it as well. It doesn't cost you anything extra. The most used portion of our program is probably our telehealth platform. I know you're probably familiar with telemedicine and how that works. A couple of things that are different about ours is we don't just give them access to physicians, but we also offer teledentistry. Plus, there's some more mental wellness capabilities. So anytime your employee wants to talk to a doctor, they shoot a message to the app, call in, tell them what's going on. Same conversation they would have if they were face to face with that doctor. They need medicine prescribed, labs ordered, referrals made. They handle all of that over the phone. It usually takes less than 10, 15 minutes, and they're done. Best part is there's no copay. It's totally free. Of course, the spouse can use it, dependents can use it. It's available anytime, day or night, 24/7, 365. Now, a great side effect of using this program is when you look at the major medical plans, the health insurance that you have in place now, of course, we're not touching any of that. That's going to stay just like it is. But your rates on that are based off of utilization. So what that means is the more you use your health insurance, the more expensive it is, unfortunately. Well, when your employees are using our telehealth platform, that means they're not using their health insurance, which is going to drive that utilization down, which is going to help them out with rates. At a minimum, it helps rates stay flat, which is fantastic by itself, but a lot of cases we see rates actually go down over time because of usage of our program. So it saves money there, saves money on the copays. But to me, that absenteeism savings is the best because they'll have to take off work to go to the doctor. So that's included. Next is CoupleWise. This is our couples counseling service. It's just like traditional couples counseling, except it's done from home. It's private, it's confidential. You don't see anybody from church as you're walking out of a building somewhere downtown. Lots of resources there for that. Next is Freedom 365. So this is kind of like the couples counseling, but it's for people suffering with addiction problems, substance abuse issues. The stats are your employees don't go walk in your office and tell you if they're struggling in a certain area because they don't want to get fired, but we also don't want them impaired and we want to get them help. But where do we go to do that? Treatment's very expensive, whether it's inpatient, outpatient. So you don't really know what to do. So this gives the employees a way to get help without having to tell anybody. There's tons of amazing resources. It'll connect them with local people. Maybe they're already in recovery and they missed a meeting downtown because they had to work late. They want to get online, talk to somebody in Wisconsin. Lots of resources there for them. Of course, the spouse and dependents can use that as well. Of course, everything's confidential. And then the last part is our health coaching program. And this isn't a one size fits all type of deal. It's customized for each employee. So they call in and connect with our team and tell them what's going on. Say, for example, I call in and say, hey, I'm trying to lose a little weight and I want to quit smoking, but I have high cholesterol too, but I have bad knees and I don't like to eat bananas. Whatever the parameters are, and they build out a custom plan based on all the stuff that I've told them, the goals that I have from nutrition, mindset, exercise. We have master levels, dietitians, RNs, physicians, life coaches, nutrition experts, personal trainers, you name it on the team. And they build out a custom plan for each person. And then the best part is they hold them accountable for it as well. That's included. And again, there's many, many other things in here, but obviously we understand HIPAA regulations. Everything's very secure. So nobody knows what anybody's doing or not doing inside of the program. So that's the program itself. And I know I went through that fast, but you can tell there's a lot of stuff there. And I didn't go through everything for sake of time. But I know that you would agree with me that right now it's hard to find and keep employees. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, how much you pay people. It's a very competitive climate that we're in, and it's tough. So having this in place, not only will it help you keep the people that you have, but as you're hiring, growing, recruiting, this is just kind of another tool in your toolbox to help get those new people on board as well. So now that that's in place, all your employees are going to get that, and that's what's going to trigger the money part. So the easiest way to explain how this works is I'm just going to show you a before and after check stub. So this is the before check stub, what it would look like before we put the program in place for you. In this example here, we've got Bob. He's a single guy, no kids. And just to make the math on it easy, we're going to say he only gets paid one time a month. So right now, his gross pay is $5,000. Of course, that's before taxes. In this example, he's paying $300 towards his health insurance. We got that going through a Section 125 cafeteria plan. So we're able to take and pre-tax that money. So basically what happens is we're able to take that $300 right off the top, then he pays taxes on what's left over. So in this example, he's paying taxes on $4,700 there. Well, based on that, he's got to pay all those taxes, his federal, Social Security, Medicare, state. So in this example, he owes $1,253.32 in taxes. We're going to add back that $300 he's paying for health insurance. So he's got a total of $1,553.32 coming off that $5,000 in his pay. That leaves his net pay, his take-home pay, $3,446.68. So if that didn't make sense, hit pause right here, rewind it back a couple of seconds and watch that again. If you're tracking with me, we'll continue and move on. So that's what it looks like before we do anything. That's our baseline. This is what it would look like after we put the program in place for you. So in this example, it's the same guys, the same situation, same scenario. His gross pay is still $5,000. That's still before taxes. He's still paying $300 towards his health insurance in this example. That's still going through the cafeteria plan. That money's getting pre-taxed. But now we're going to say, okay, Bob, if you want to participate there in your company's program, there on the right-hand side, you're going to charge him $900 for that. But what's great is the IRS allows us to reimburse our employees for that expense. So you're able to give him that $900 back there in the same check on the left-hand side. So this is your company's program. We're administering it for you, but it's your program where you're the one that's doing the charging of the $900 and also doing the crediting of the $900. When we go in to set this up for you, we're going to put a charge in there and a credit in there inside your payroll software. When you hit that button, it does the math. Those two numbers zero themselves out. They wash out before anything happens. It's kind of like if I said, hey, you owe me $20, but I'm going to give you $20 for your birthday. You and I physically don't have to swap hands to know a transaction happened because I'm the one charging it and crediting it at the same time. I'm going to make a note of it, put it in my ledger, that kind of stuff, but we don't physically have to swap hands. It's the same situation here. Well, what's great is that $900 there on the right-hand side that we're charging them, we're also able to take and run that through the cafeteria plan and pre-tax that money as well. So he was paying taxes on $4,700 in the previous example. Now we're able to take and lower those taxable wages by another $900. So now he only has to pay taxes on $3,800 of it. Well, obviously his taxes are less in that scenario. He was having to pay $1,253.32. Well, now he's only got to pay $948.53. That leaves a difference there, a tax savings that we created in this example of $304.79. Now, the way this is structured and keep things compliant, I can't take all that down to the net pay. That money kind of goes over here into a bucket. And out of that bucket of money has to be used towards medical related things. So right off the top, out of those tax savings we created, that $304.79, there's an $80 admin fee that comes out, and that's the employee's portion of that program that I just showed you. And that leaves a difference there of what we call their allotment. So in this case, that's $224.79. So that's when we sit down with Bob and say, hey man, congratulations. Your company's putting this program in place. Here's all the stuff you're going to get. You got $224 here to spend. So we ask him some questions. We walk through all the policies that are available. We help him pick out what he wants. In this example, he decided to spend that $224.79 on a cancer policy, an accident policy, some disability, and some life insurance. So you add up all four of those policies. That's that $224.79 down to the penny. That's coming out. You got the $80 admin fee, the $300 for the health insurance, the $948 in taxes. We add all of that up. He's back at $1,553.32, coming off the $5,000. His net pay stays the exact same as it was before, but now he's got that added program with the EAP and the telehealth, the counseling, and everything that I showed you. Plus, he's got 4 extra insurance policies he didn't have before. Well, his take-home pay stayed the same. He feels like he's getting it for free. Of course, you and I both know nothing's free. He's definitely paying for all of that, but he's paying for it out of the tax savings that we created. So each employee's allotment, the amount they get to spend each month on benefits, it's going to be different from the person next to them. It's based on how much they pay in taxes. You know, the more they pay in taxes, the more we can save them, the more they have to spend. Are they married, single? Do they have any kids? How much money do they make? All of that factors into it as well. Now, another thing there that affects that number is if they're single with no kids, or it's just one person in their home, we do a $900 a month offset. But if they're married, or if they have kids, or if there's 2 or more people in the home, we're able to do a $1,200 a month offset. But we're still averaging about $150 that each employee has to spend each month on benefits without it changing their take-home pay. And, well, they can buy a lot of stuff with that. So that's the employee side of it. Now, where you save money as a business, as you know, every dollar that we hold out of their check for Social Security and Medicare, you have to match that dollar for dollar on those 941s. So if we're holding $300 out of his check for this part, you got to send in 600 to Uncle Sam. Well, when we lower the employee's taxable wages, that lowers how much they pay in taxes, which lowers how much you have to match. So based on that, we're going to save you an average of about $1,100 a year there per employee on the payroll tax match. Now, out of that $1,100 savings, you'll pay a $46 a month admin fee. That's your portion of that employee's program. The IRS says you have to have a little skin in the game too. And that nets out saving you an average of about $550 a person. So we're saving you $1,100. You're going to scoop $550 right off the top for profit, and then pay out the rest at $46 a month so it cash flows. There's never a situation that's ever cost your company money. It only saves you money. So that's where I got that example I gave you at the beginning of the video, where the 25 employees times their average of 550 works out to be right at $14,000 a year. But again, it's not a write it off at the end of the year thing. Next month, you're on our program, you go to run payroll, send those 941s in, you'll have about $1,200 left over. At its simplest form, we're saving you about $45 a month per employee. The savings are around $91. You pay that $46 fee off the top, and you're scooping about 45 bucks back to the bottom line. Now, this is money you were paying in taxes the previous month that's now unallocated for right back into your budget that you can do whatever you need to with it. Now, another place we save you money is we don't charge a fee for the cafeteria plan. We have an ERISA attorney on our team. They handle all the setup and compliance documents and everything. We make that super simple and easy. And of course, we don't charge for that either. But that's it. That's how it works. So the next steps here are pretty simple. We've given you a lot of examples, a lot of estimates. We'd like to give you some hard numbers to make a decision off of. We just need some basic census info. The type of information we need is, the employee's name, how much money do they make, how do they withhold on taxes from a federal, state standpoint? Is there anything coming out of their check, pre-tax, like insurance, retirement, that kind of stuff, and then anything else that's coming out of their check? Basically, we need to know anything that's coming, that's going to affect their take-home pay. There should be a simple report that you can pull out of your software there. It shouldn't take less than a minute and get that to your agent, and we'll get those numbers ran for you. But once we get all that information, we'll generate you a proposal where we're going to show you exactly how much you're going to save each month, each year. Then I'll list out all your employees to show you exactly how much each person has to spend individually on benefits without it changing their take-home pay. After that, you say, hey, let's do it. Setting up the enrollment's very different than what we've gone through right here. When we're talking to that employee, one is our goal is to not to disrupt the flow of the day, but also, try to get them in and out as quick as possible. Usually takes about 10-15 minutes a person. And that conversation kind of goes like this. Hey, Mr. Employee, congratulations. Here's this program your company's putting in place. We walk them through all those wellness benefits. Generally, we don't talk to them about your company saving money because they don't really care. We make it all about them, kind of build you up as the hero. And I say, hey, now that you've got this program, you get to take advantage of these tax codes. It lets us take a chunk of the money. It's coming out of your check. You're having to pay taxes each week. Now you get to use it to buy insurance. Great news is it's not going to change your take-home pay. Not going to make your tax return go down. It's going to be kind of feel like you're getting this for free. Of course, nothing's free. You're paying for all of this, but you're paying for it out of tax savings we created. Check stub's going to look a little different, but again, that take-home pay won't change. Then we'll tell them how much money they have to spend, ask them some questions. We walk through the policies, help them pick out what they want. It's not really one size fits all on this. We just kind of work with them and advise them on what makes sense for them and their family. It is a voluntary program, so they don't have to participate if they don't want to. We do have somebody occasionally not do it. That's fine, no big deal. We do have to meet with everybody because they have to sign a form saying that we presented it to them and they chose not to do it. But no big deal. It's not like a timeshare pitch. We won't beat them over the head. But once we get them all enrolled, we do all the heavy lifting from there, and we break everything down by pay period. So when our CPA, we have a full-time CPA, Louise, when she gets on the phone with your payroll person, it's just a simple data entry on their end. She walks them through what buttons to click, how to set it up in the system, answer any questions. Once that's done and your payroll person is comfortable with that, we request a mock payroll. So we would say, let's grab some before checks and some after checks, and let's make sure everything's netting out like it's supposed to. Make sure there's not a number that got flipped somewhere. We'd much rather catch a mistake before payday than on payday. But it's real simple things there. Once it's set up in the system, it's set up. There's nothing you have to do administratively, reporting at the end of the year, none of that stuff. It just keeps on going and going, and you save money each month. The only thing we need to know is if somebody leaves for any reason, they get fired, quit, that retire, or if you hire somebody new so we can add them on there. Now, one other thing that we found is whoever's handling that payroll, the easier we make their life, the better everything is. And so we pay for a TPA, or a third-party administrator. We use a company called the Capital Group. They're the largest in the world in this. And so what their job is to make the billing simple. So the insurance companies send the bill to them, the wellness company sends the bill to them, and anything else that you've got insurance related that's already in place, we'll send all that to the TPA, and then they send you one bill each month. You get it on the 20th. Carrie is our lady there. She's our dedicated rep, and she says, hey, here's your bill. Check it out. Anything we need to tweak, change, take off, add, and then in a week or so, they take and send you the actual bill from that point. It just makes that person that's sitting in that payroll seat for you's life a lot easier, because they'll have one point of contact. They don't have to remember what bills due on what day and which company is what. And we just found that makes things way better and easier. But that's it. That's how it works. Of course, you would start saving money next month, and the employees get access to all the benefits. It's a true win-win. From this point, any questions, ask the agent there on site. If it's something that's outside of their knowledge base, I'd be happy to personally jump on the phone with you or somebody from our team here at Citadel Benefits and answer any questions. We obviously don't go through all the tax codes on this because insurance is already boring and you add taxes in, it's a little much. Happy to have that conversation if you're a CPA watching this, or CFO at a company, or if you're just the business owner or manager that wants to see them. Happy to talk that through with you and walk you through all the stuff we're using for compliance. But that is it. Next thing is basically just give them the census information while you're there. We'll get those numbers ran and take the next steps from that. Thanks so much for your time today. I look so forward to meeting you and working with you on this. Have a great day.